Hola amigos, I'm Hannah from Speak Better Spanish. I am coming to you today from San Salvador, the capital of the country, El Salvador in Central America. Today we're going to be talking about what are accent marks in Spanish, how do we use them, what are they for, etc. This is something that's come up a lot recently in some of my Spanish classes, my one-on-one Spanish classes. And so let's just get straight to the point. So an accent mark, what is it? It's that little mark you see over some letters in the Spanish language. Now, not to be confused with the mark that we see over the N, which is called a tilde. Totally different, not an accent mark. The accent mark I'm talking about looks like a little slash. And that slash starts on the left and goes up to the right. In Spanish, our accent marks always go in that direction. They never go in any other direction. I know that in some other languages, we might have all different types of accent marks. In Spanish, it's going to be just that one type. And our accent marks are only found on our vowels in Spanish. So our vowels in Spanish are the same as our vowels in English, A, E, I, O, and U, or in Spanish, A, E, I, O, U. And that accent mark tells us that we need to put the emphasis on that letter, as in we're saying that letter extra loud. For example, in the name Jose. Jose, you hear the A at the end, takes in a little bit of a extra loud sound. So it's not that we're yelling it, it's not that it's super noticeable, but listen to the difference. Jose, 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 Jose. So you can kind of hear the intonation or the focus or the louder sound or where we're putting that emphasis. In the example, Jose falls on the E. Why do we have that accent mark there besides telling us to put the emphasis there? Well, because typically in Spanish, the emphasis falls on the second to last syllable. Now, there are some exceptions to that, but in general, that's kind of the rule. So if we're going to put the emphasis in a different syllable that's not the second to last syllable, then that's one reason we're going to use the accent mark. Another reason might be to differentiate the word from a similar word. For example, see and see. Uh-oh, sounds the same. Well, from the context, we'll be able to tell which is which. If you haven't come across these two forms of see, one is SI with an accent mark. That means yes. One is SI with no accent mark, just a normal dot on top of the I. That means if. So, as I mentioned, if you're listening in conversation, you'll be able to tell which is which just by the context. But if we're reading something, not only does the context clue us in, but that accent mark clues us in. So it's not necessarily that they sound different in that case because it's literally just one syllable, but it's going to differentiate that word. So I hope this helps. I hope it's helped clear up a little bit of what are accent marks, what is that little dash, apostrophe, weird thing we see on top of some letters in Spanish. If you have any questions on that, just drop them in the comments below.